Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Bizaphrike studio. This evening we shall be having a conversation around the environment and how to sustain it. And today I'm joined by a panel of eminent people, personalities, who will be speaking to us about how to clean our cities, how to manage our waste in a better and sustainable way. To begin us off, I'll quickly introduce my panelists here, starting with Angela here, who comes from the Bikers Association, Tony from NEMA, Rita from Rotary, and Matthias from Service Corps. So we all know that waste is a big problem in all cities, and most cities grapple with this problem of how to manage waste. And we also know that most times waste is associated with state actors, with government, with local authorities. Today we are here to have a conversation about how can we involve non-state actors. And in this conversation, we are being led by the Uganda Bikers Association, who have taken it upon themselves to make a contribution on how we can clean our cities and therefore manage waste. So to start us off, we'll have Angela, the president of the Uganda Bikers Association, tell us about the Yonja campaign and how we intend to roll it out.
Thank you very much, our moderator. Uganda Bikers Association is an organization of about over 50 members. We do visit cities around this country and outside of this country. We have noticed that waste generation has become a problem and it's compromising the environment that we live in. But not only the environment that we visit, but also the environments that we stay in. Uganda Bikers noticed that the environments have been compromised by even waste disposal. So we thought that it would be a good gesture for us to partner with some of the big stakeholders in our cities to make sure that we clean up our cities. We know that a city that is not clean, that is not healthy, will produce a population that is not economical. So we thought that partnering with the stakeholders to come into this picture and help us clean the cities that we live in, the cities that we do businesses in. We launched this Yonja project, Yonja campaign, as an initiative to go out into the cities that we visit as bikers, but also the cities that we live in, to make sure that we clean up this environment. Like I mentioned, a clean environment is a productive population.
Thank you, Angela. And you raise very pertinent issues there. A clean environment, a healthy population. And we all know that in Uganda, for instance, we're urbanizing at a very high rate. We're urbanizing at about 5.1% per year. So what does that create? It creates a lot of course, opportunities for economic growth, people searching for employment, and therefore cities or towns attract a lot of people. I would like to speak to Tony. From where you sit as the regulator of the environment, as the custodian of managing our environment in terms of waste management, how do you see this initiative by Uganda Bikers Association in trying to plug the gaps that may be existing in the waste management of cities?
Before I make my submission, I would first like to commend the Uganda Bikers for taking this initiative. It is something, it's a good gesture, not only for us, the individuals, but for the environment as a whole. Now, NEMA is the principal agency of government charged with 4 major functions. That is coordination, regulating, monitoring, and supervising all aspects of environment. Now, in undertaking our work, we are bound by the law. We use the National Environment Act, number 5 of 2019. Now, Section 3 of this law that gives us the mandate, gives us our power. Section 3 is very specific. It says every person in Uganda has a right to a clean, healthy, and productive environment. And it goes ahead to state that every person in Uganda has a duty to enhance the environment, including the duty to prevent pollution. we collaborate with so many players. We collaborate with the private sector, we collaborate with NGOs, we collaborate with the civil society and other actors in environment. We also work with lead agencies. Now, the issue of waste is one that that affects all of us. It affects us in many ways. In terms of if waste is not disposed of well, the negative impacts are so many.
The collaborative aspect of the law,
yes,
with the various partners, both state and non-state actors. Of course, in this case, we have the private sector, and our particular interest here is service corps here, who have also opted to be a partner to this initiative. And one wonders, from a fintech point of view, what prospects do you envisage in this kind of partnerships, or of helping to clean the environment, to have a sustainable environment, and so on and so forth?
Thank you, moderator. Maybe I should start to mention that I'm not yet using robots. The people that we employ at Service Corps are still human, and because of that, they are of course contributors to, they are part and parcel of the environmental issues in our towns. I should mention that, just to speak a bit about science, is that environmental resources are determinate, they are specific, they are not increasing. The land resource we are seated on is not increasing. Because of that, it is imperative on every person, especially in Uganda and in our cities, to ensure that we protect the environment. So I'm lucky to be wearing 3 shoes today. I'm a Rotarian, I'm a biker, so I speak from whichever angle I would wish to speak. So as a biker, I've had an opportunity to cross a couple of countries, 8, 9 of them, and I've had an opportunity to see the difference in how they manage waste, how clean their cities are, but how nice our home is. Our country is very beautiful. You have the best weather, everything is good apart from waste. I also have interest in tourism, and for you to be properly branded as a tourist destination, one of the key things is that you must have clean cities, irrespective of how nicely built they are. As long as they are not clean, you are going to attract a certain different type of tourist. So from that perspective, I'm happy to join hands. I happen to have been part of the first architects of this idea until we shared with Uganda Bikers. We think this is taking responsibility. In Kiswahili, they call it uzalendo, patriotism, a love for country, so that each person in our country has a role. It's not only NEMA, police, Uganda, it's personal responsibility, because NEMA does not come to throw waste everywhere. They don't tell you to throw bottles on the roadside. So we want to mobilize people to be responsible as far as waste management is concerned. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthias. And Matthias raises the issue of patriotism. Nobody will clean our environments for us. We need to do this by our own drive. And what does that mean for me? I see that more hands on deck are being called for. I see Rotary coming on board. And I'd like to hear from Rita from the Rotary Club of Kampala South. How do you see this partnership turning out? Do you see it benefiting from the structures of the network that you have around the country? Because I understand it's a countrywide agenda that will be moving around the cities. Do you want to tap into that kind of network? And being one of the biggest philanthropy organizations in the world, do you also bring some financial muscle towards this initiative? We'd be happy to hear from you on that.
Thank you, Dennis. Rotary is, like you said, a service organization. I should add, one of the service organizations in the world where you pay to serve humanity. So when we got wind of this initiative, it is exciting for us as Rotary, because one of our 7 areas of focus which guide us is the environment. And as we try to discuss how best to tackle environment, we are planting trees. and and more trees. So when you have an opportunity to clean cities, and you're riding on the backs of those people that have seen it, they are in, I mean, the bikers are in all these places. They see the waste. We also see it in our different projects. It is a good initiative, and considering the fact that we have over 100 Rotary clubs in different cities, so every city will have Rotarians plugging in and helping the initiative more, especially around mindset change, because most people don't realize that if you throw a Kavera, it doesn't rot, like it's a non-biodegradable substance. So mindset change, partnerships, and Rotary, largely our work is partnerships. We partner with people, different countries, different NGOs. So this initiative is a huge thing for us as a Rotary, but especially very exciting because we can change a lot of people and the way we live. And of course, the other area of focus of the 7 is health. We have the health component in it. Of course, a dirty environment creates many health problems. So while we are trying to build hospitals and empower and equip them, we should try to also manage the environment so that we don't build hospitals so that people get sick. We would like to have hospitals where people actually just come in for maybe just normal checkup. So a health environment will have a healthy community, and for us, we'll have hit it on the head.
Thank you, Rita. I like the idea that Rotary enjoys the benefit of a network across the country, across the region and globally, and which for me I see as an opportunity for providing stewardship for some of these programs at a local level. So you have a Rotary club, say in Gulu or Lira, they will be able to steer this conversation further while we are away after the initial intervention. So there's quite a bit of benefit there, and also able to sustain the awareness agenda, the behavior change, agenda. And this for me means that having participated in similar activities in Kampala here, I know the power of awareness creation and how it stimulates people to behave, but it also has the capacity to generate a lot more waste that we have not been tracking of being collected. I know that on average, if you look at a city like Kampala, for instance, at some point, collection efficiency was 40%.
Yes.
But the moment they organized a bit of the collection, which was a result of this kind of campaigns, if you remember the Tweyonje campaigns in the Musisi regime, yeah, they generated a lot of waste. So you have a problem on your hands. Where do we take this waste? I would like to hear from Tony, from the NEMA perspective, what has been your experience in terms of providing the last mile kind of support, to the city authorities. I know, for instance, some years ago, you had cities like Mbale, Fort Portal being supported to manage the waste better for compositing and then selling the fertilizers for agricultural use. So in this kind of fastly urbanizing areas, for instance, like Lira, which is growing at a very fast rate, how do you see this initiative the results of this initiative being managed at a local authority level? Do you feel there is capacity to handle this? Do they have, for instance, collection vehicles, or do they have private actors organized in a certain way, or do they even have where they actually deposit this stuff that we're going to generate? Because even if we went to recycle, where does it go? We have uptake, mechanisms and so on. So from a regulator's point of view, what do you perceive of this last mile, kind of situation that would emerge after this kind of campaigns?
Thank you. Yes, the issue of waste management has been a challenge in all these urban authorities, in all these cities, town councils, and the likes. And because we realized this, because the challenges are not only theoretical, some of them you can see. You pass through a street and there is garbage dumped there. and the persons who dump the garbage there are complaining that they do not have where to put that garbage. They're able to separate the waste, they're able to put it to good use. So that the option of landfilling or of taking waste to a landfill is the last option where that waste cannot be put to further good use. Okay, so that is the regime we are getting into. That aside, we are undertaking a number of awareness raising activities, such as cleanups, sharing information on through the media, looking at champions within the communities, and partnerships such as this, so that the people in the communities are aware about, one, the good practices in relation to waste, and two, about what not to do and the dangers of improper disposal of this waste. So it is a vision that we have where waste will be managed in a circular manner, where waste will not be disposed of irresponsibly, where all kinds of waste have to be handled by licensed waste handlers, and that is the direction we are taking.
Thank you, colleagues, for sharing with us this far. We'll take a break for now and return immediately after the break. Welcome back to this segment of the conversation we're having with Uganda Bikers Association. When we took off, as usual, the technocrats are taking us in the depths, Tony leading us into circularity. What is circularity, reuse, and finding use for all those products that are generated from waste, with a view to reducing on what goes to the end point.
Yeah,
so
sure.
How can we derive value from this? So Matthias, from where Tony left us, I get a sense, like indicated earlier, we'll have a lot of stuff generated. So from the bikers' point of view, how do you see this campaign rolling out to be able to sustain this momentum? Where are we going next? We say we're starting in Lira on 22nd of July. So what happens, first of all, in Lira? How is it organized there? And then after Lira, what happens? We'd like to get a feel of, how this shall pan out.
Thank you, moderator. Like you said, I have 3 hats. I'm a biker from Service Corps. I'm also a Rotarian. So this project was hatched, I think, about a year ago, during our AGM, Uganda Bikers Association AGM. So we picked it up about 6 months ago, and we started the planning. So the idea is to focus on the cities, because the cities are the hotspot of waste generation and disposal because of the commercial activity. So what we want to do is to begin with Lira. We have our specific interests in Lira as a starting city, because some of the city...
We'll be curious to know what those interests are.
The interest being that some of the people, the big men in the part of the political leadership in Lira City are part of Uganda Bikers.
Oh, wow.
So it's our home. It has always been our home. We ride there often. Believe we can anchor our campaign from Lira, but the strategy is to cover all Uganda cities. So what will happen for us after Lira, we will have a big plan, and especially with the actors that are coming on board, part of Rotaries in every city, we want to anchor on those partners that the Uganda Indian Association has joined, is interested. We have already linked up with the gentleman in Lira to organize and mobilize. So ideally what we're going to do is that from Lira, we're going to map out a roadmap for all the cities, and we also want to do a longer kind of projection, because the partners we have are not short-term partners, 1 year, 6 months. We want to sustain the campaign so that we reach a level where people are conscious about waste management. If you go in a village or any other town, you will hardly find somebody putting waste in their sitting room. The fact that they don't put waste in the house is that they are conscious that waste is bad. So if we can emphasize that message from the sitting room, not in the veranda, make sure it's not on the road. Our part of the things we want to do is we want to liaise with local authorities to do some bit of bylaws. The leader is very willing to put some bylaws within their jurisdiction to be able to sanction people who are wasting. The leader has also promised to mobilize the business community, mobilize the schools, mobilize. One of the commitments they have done is that they would want to establish a specific day for community cleaning. The what do they call it in Uganda? Because we are part and parcel of the community, we are generated this waste, we are the people that need a clean environment, we have to be the first actors. So as we zero down on a city, we always discuss with the city, get a sense of commitments. We are coming here. What are you going to do after we have left? We get some bit of commitments, and then with partners like Rotary, the Indian community, and the traders and the borders who are our brothers, we find a way of building a sustainability angle to it. Yes. So that is largely how we're going to roll. From Rira, we have a big plan for all the cities. I know President will touch on it. We have integrated environment as part of our value system as bikers. We have values, but now we have added that environment and cleanup as part of our value system. So in every ride that we shall make in every city, we'll have to organize with the city leadership to be able to do some activity as a promotional activity. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Just a second. Incidentally, even according to the law, local governments have, they are allowed to make ordinances and bylaws for specific environmental issues that are within their jurisdictions. So the issue of waste management is one such area where local governments are permitted to, to make laws pertaining to how waste ought to be managed in their particular jurisdictions. So yes, it's a good thing, and if LIRA is already doing it, that is something that we have to commend them for, and we hope they're able to enforce it, because they can, for example, put a bylaw in place saying every let's say business, every mall, shopping mall, for example, ought to have a licensed waste handler who will pick up their waste, let's say, every 2 days or every day at after close of business, maybe 9 o'clock. They have the the authority to
without
do that.
going to parliament first.
No, a bylaw is within their area of jurisdiction, as long as it is in accordance with the mother law. They are permitted to do so.
Good. Following the principle of polluter pays.
Exactly. Yeah.
Good.
And I think having Rotarians here is not by mistake.
It's by design.
It's like exactly because, like she mentioned, it's one of those values, focus points by which we lead. And as Matthias also put it, we are adding it on the bikers' core values, the environment. We travel so much to these cities around this country, and I can tell you there's so much garbage, so much waste disposal that the local authorities are probably even overwhelmed by managing it, disposing of it. So we saw a gap there that if we partnered with the stakeholders, the big ones here, the NEMA and the other local authorities, to bring attention to the communities that we visit, that this is a pertinent issue that needs to be addressed, and it needs to be addressed not today but yesterday.
And incidentally, waste can be used to create wealth.
Yes.
There is that saying, there is that concept of waste to wealth, where what is it called?
waste resource or something?
Community waste, waste generated from communities, non-hazardous waste, can be used to make things that can bring in income, things like briquettes.
Yes.
Yeah, and if that direction is taken, the creation of briquettes will incidentally lead to less cutting down of trees. So it will be a whole circular kind of arrangement. So yes, it is waste to some, but it can be a raw material for production of something that can be more useful and put to other use. So we need to think holistically about how we manage waste in our urban centers.
Adding on to that, and again, another area of focus for Rotary is economic empowerment.
Yes.
So we should find all sorts of means to use this waste to basically add value to this waste.
Yes.
And they can make, there is the briquettes, they use straws to make, I think, table mats or something.
Yeah, plastics can be used for
make table mats.
For lots of things.
Bottle tops from beer bottles, they can make interior design. There's a lot that can be used with this waste, and once we have that mindset change and people actually understand that waste is bad but it can also be good, then I think we'll be good to go.
Good. When Matthias was explaining why the Lira start, I thought, is it because there are too many cyclists in Lira that they have to be there? And whether the cyclists are part of the Bikers Association?
Yeah, there's a bicycle.
As bikers, we appeal to other bikers, especially the smaller bikers.
The Manigach Fuba.
The bicycle. Especially the border borders.
Yes.
You know, the border economy is a big one. So I mean, those are the people that they're involved in transporting goods, and involved in waste management. So partly they will be part of our partners. But from Tony here, the discussion I hear is that the waste management is basically an ecosystem.
Yes.
We could, with the partners from Rotary, the other people that have joined, we could be able to mine and get other mini projects.
Yes.
There's a bigger project, but for us to go to the last mile, for us to be able to achieve what we need, we might need to create other sub-projects.
Yes.
Yes,
So
sure.
that's why after RIRA, we are supposed to have a stakeholders meeting, sort of a planning meeting to do the long term. If we are to do waste, how do we use it, for example, to tap into the socio-economic empowerment aspect of the Rotary? How do we say waste can be used for agriculture? Because some of those people most of the people in Kampala actually in Kampala, but they are partly traders, others are farmers. Can we be able to compost and they get manure? Can we be, I've seen the people doing recycling, the number is increasing, but they have challenges with how we sort waste. If we sort out the issue of sorting waste, can we attract, for example, an off-taker for plastics? If he's aware that if I take this route, I'll get 3 tons of plastic, instead of relying on individuals bringing one by one. So we believe that this discussion is not just about empowering communities. It's a big story. It's a big business, if you say. For us, we are just going to hold the torch and then attract different partners who fit in and know what they can benefit.
Yes, and while you were saying that, the potential of this initiative, I've been to India and I've seen how, just because they have taken a deliberate position that all the waste shall be composted. So fertilizers are made, so the local agricultural economy is fed from local, the circularity that we're talking about. So you don't have foreign, so you create a lot of spill-off activity and economic activities that benefit local communities and the rest of the nation at that.
Yeah, so if I could interject at this point, what is in essence we're talking about is the waste management hierarchy, where in an ideal situation there are certain steps that that ought to be taken in order to manage waste. The first is prevention. If you can prevent during your process of production, you can prevent the generation of waste, do that. If you are not able to prevent waste from being generated, at least reduce the amount of waste that that will be generated from your production process. Then the third is reuse your items, recycle, then you move on to treatment, and the final thing would be responsible disposal. So before you get to responsible disposal, there are these other alternatives that you can opt for. So in an ideal situation, we ought to follow the waste management hierarchy.
Unfortunately, we have examples of initiatives around us in Kampala where effort has been made. It's a work in progress. You cannot say it will start today and you get the results tomorrow.
Of course.
I know, for instance, in Korea, just to South Korea, to get them to sort, it took them 50 years. When we travel there, we find clean cities, but it's effort and time.
Yes, sir.
And I don't know, I've not heard anybody talk about children here. Where do you see children playing? What role do you see them playing in this? You know, they're big influencers in this industry.
Well, maybe because
they
they can't ride bikes
yet. Through the car, they say, you know?
Maybe because they can't ride the big bikes yet.
Yeah, but again, why I'm saying that is that I would like to hear from Angela.
Yes.
How have you mobilized people to galvanize around this initiative?
Okay. Well,
what is that aha you need to be there?
Yes. Well, as you know, bikers are a moving, marketing,
an attraction.
Just bring 2 bikes and everybody will come out of the woodworks to find out what is that roaring noise.
Yeah.
So we think that with our big machines, we can be able to go to these schools and teach and tell and mobilize and sensitize children to dispose of waste in a more appropriate way instead of trashing it anywhere in the compound. Of course, that comes with providing the utensils where this waste is going to. See, waste management is big.
Yes.
It's not just the actual waste, but while we waste, how are we collecting that? So we also need to teach the schools to provide the utensils where the waste is going to be collected.
Yes.
Cleaning cities has been used in the region without mentioning specific countries as a brand, as everybody knows that this is a clean country or this is a clean town. In Uganda, you speak of Fort Poto, you understand what you're talking about.
Yes.
I don't know whether Mbale is still clean, but you talked about Mbale.
They're struggling, I know.
It lost it.
So the whole point of cleaning, and as a city, it is just beyond removing waste. It's about the brand. It's about attracting tourists. It's about building an economy. It's big. So while we are mobilizing people to clean up and make our environment clean, everybody benefits. From the taxman, from the government, revenue collection. I mean, we want to be branded as a very clean country. Someone will say Uganda, Kampala is very interesting, very happening city, but it's dirty. Some of us will get an opportunity to interact with tourists. That is the comment. You guys are amazing. You have good people. Town is vibrant, but the city is dirty. So we want to be part and parcel as Uganda Bikers and the partners here, Service Corps, of course NEMA, that's the mandate, to ensure that we are part of that big dream of having to see Uganda clean as we would want it to be.
And also make the people understand what waste is, because maybe some don't know what waste is. Like, we're talking about waste, but what is waste? Somebody is going to say, I mean, leftover food thrown outside your door, that is waste. And somebody's saying, no, but that is, so...
It will rot.
Yeah, it will rot. But while it rots, then what? So, yeah.
So, yeah, what I pick from what you just said is that waste is, it also has social-cultural complexities. Because in these urban settings, you have people from everywhere. We come from wherever we come from with our different cultural practices. So you're kind of creating a new concept, you know, to people. So there is in these informal settlements, maybe I come from this part of the country, that part of the country. We look at these things differently.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really, it will be quite an effort that has to be sustained to be able to realize the results. And I like that you have taken the approach of piloting, that we don't have a solution to all the cities. I'm sure that if you went to Fort Portal, it will be a different challenge.
Yes.
They may have a challenge of uptaking their composite materials. They used to pile them there. You go to Mbale, maybe the same. If you go to Kampala or wherever, different challenges, you know. So for me, I think it will be a massive, you know, intervention. It will generate a lot of buzz. And that said, from the Rotary perspective, Rita, what lessons would you think, for instance, the cancer run efforts, the blood banks, fundraisers could lend to this kind of initiative to make it? What lessons do we pick from there that we think can, you know, can give this initiative the impetus that?
Well, Cancer Run is huge, and now it's actually we get countries outside Uganda participating in this, so it is a very good platform for us, for this initiative to be, for us to actually send this message through the Cancer Run platform, like, because there will be, for example, if you use Kololo airstrip, where that's where the Cancer Run will be, the flagging off will be, we have a session or an element of talking about the waste in its being as waste, because as you run, we take water and we throw the bottles.
Win big. If we manage to attract Rotary, the whole Rotary fraternity, not just one club, if we manage to attract them into this kind of arrangement, these components can move even one, they can move together. Along the Cancer Run, you can have environmental awareness, you can even have even the blood bank. Yeah. We have been discussing with someone in Rira to organize for us the Rira Rotary Club, so that they can organize and the bikers give the blood.
Leave some blood in there.
So those elements of the bikers and Rotarians are all people of service. No one pays us money to ride. We ride on our own volition. So we seem to share the same characteristics. So I want to believe we are actually part of the Cancer Run. For all the Cancer Run that happen, we first go to curtain raise and spin around, move bikes around and attract more people.
Building synergy.
So there's already a connection between
posing.
the Rotary and the Cancer Run.
Posing with your bike.
Posing makes us more people. So I want to believe that the Cancer Run structure, the model, how it has been worked out, how it began, the idea, the big idea of Mwanje, I think I remember it has to be Mwanje. That big idea started from nowhere and said this we can do. It seemed too big until people of action got to work. And I want to believe this can be the same.
It will, because this is also huge, and even picking out where to start from is sort of challenging. But of course, baby steps, and starting with waste management. Pick your bottle up, put it in a bin. Don't throw this. Don't throw stuff out of the window. And talking about the children, once that child knows from zero age that throwing rubbish anywhere other than where it should be is wrong, we will have educated the whole nation, because they will not allow you, their father, to throw rubbish out of the window. They'll make you feel ashamed. Like, what is that? What did you just do? So along with them, there's a certain age group, the early childhood development age. That's the best age to get this idea to stick.
Yeah, what I hear being said is about the sustainability of this exercise. I must say that, yes, we have had cleanups before. For all the World Environment Days that NEMA has organized, there's always been a cleanup, at least within a street or two streets within the district or city where World Environment Day has been held. And even aside from World Environment Day, there have been some one-offs here and there. But the question of sustainability is what has always arisen. Yes, you have come to this place, to this market, to this street, cleaned up, and after the cleanup, you can clearly see that there is a difference from the situation that was there before and how the place looks like after the cleanup. And the hope is that when the people in these communities see that, well, when we put in even an hour or two to clean up the area, there can be a difference.
Yes.
So what we need to do is have this, push this in such a way that it remains in their minds. It becomes a lifestyle.
Yes.
It becomes a lifestyle, so that being in a clean environment is what they look forward to seeing. So that if anyone comes with an alternative idea of not managing their waste, within their clean environment, it will be the same people in that community to say, no, our environment has been cleaned, we have cleaned it, we want to keep it this way. So when it is in their hearts and they own it, when we own it as partners, as members of the community, as all players within the environment sector, then it becomes sustainable, as opposed to having a one-off, then you move off, and then the very next day you come back, the place is either dirtier or as dirty as it was before the cleanup. So sustainability is key in this kind of exercise.
Great. We seem to be touching all aspects, like we talked about, the hierarchy or the chain
Yes.
of the waste and its importance in the importance of managing it,
Yes.
and the potential benefits, and also the sanctions, if you like, if we don't handle it well, what they mean for our health, for disposal of waste. If we dispose it badly, we fill our drainages, we have floods like we see in Kampala here. I know in Mbara they have a problem with the Rizi because of plastics, and so on and so forth.
And by the way, incidentally, aside from the threat to the environment that you've spoken about, the pollution and all, there is also the legal perspective of it. In the law, littering is prohibited. If you litter non-hazardous waste, that is domestic waste, you can be fined up to 11 million shillings.
Wow.
It is there in the law.
But do we know
But
this?
do we enforce it?
Now we have the opportunity to raise awareness.
Yeah, we have the opportunity to raise awareness. Now, about enforcement, I will say this. This law came into force in 2019.
Oh, recently.
2019, it's a 2019 law. Then there was
Just before COVID, and then it went.
2 years of COVID and things like that. But for non-hazardous waste, if you litter, the fine is up to 11 million shillings. On top of the 11 million shillings, court can order you to remove the waste, so you do not dispose the waste irresponsibly, and then you pay the 11 million if you have it.
Still incur the cost of
you still incur the cost of what of removing it. Yeah, and if it is hazardous waste, that is dangerous to human health and the likes,
Medical
waste and the likes, chemicals and the likes, the fine is up to 100 million shillings.
Wow.
And on top of that, you also incur the cost of removing the waste, and you can court can decide to include a jail term of up to 10 years.
Wow.
Wow.
And it is there in the law.
One wonders what the guys at petrol stations do with their oils.
I know, right?
We are getting there.
For another day. But for me, I see a lot of potential in terms of our initiative, of action points. Yeah. Depending on wherever we shall be going around the country.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think we need to kind of put this thing, to kind of wrap the gift.
Yeah.
And then ask each one of you for your parting shots for the kickoff event, and of course ending with the president of the Bikers Association, to bring everybody out there to Lira. I've not heard any one of you speaking Langi here, or Luo, so I'm wondering how we are going to. And if there is, they say, Atie Babe. So there's a problem that we have there that we need to go and confront as bikers and various partners. So,
Shall speak in tongues.
yeah, sure.
If I kick it
Sign
off,
language.
on my side, I've been in the trenches. I've been one of the people organizing. We already have a team in Irira organizing for us.
Mhm.
First, before environment, there's going to be a party. You know, as bikers, we are choosing of partying. We do parties. So there's going to be a party on Friday. We ride on Friday. Then the event and the launch is on Saturday. People should come to Rira for specific reasons to join this very, very important event. Like I mentioned in my opening remarks, environmental resources are definite. You are not going to increase the amount of water in the world. It will just be burning into vapor, forming ice, coming back.
Yes, yeah.
The land mass has been the same. It is not going to increase, whether there is plastic or no plastic. So, this is very crucial for us. We want partners to come on board, the corporates, the partners that work with us, that work with Rotary. This is a very, very crucial cause for us. And we want to challenge them that we are going to do this, irrespective of how many people come. Even if no one comes, the bikers will be there.
Sure.
So that's how determined we are. And I'm sure the Rotary will be there.
We will be.
I'm guaranteed NEMA will be there. So you can see the numbers that we are putting together. This is a very, very, very good cause. So, but if you come to Rira, you're guaranteed you will enjoy. We shall make sure we organize parties the biker way. You won't be disappointed.
Great. A good way to spend the weekend. Rita.
Well, I'm excited about the party, so let me first let that sink in. I would like to call upon all Rotary clubs, and of course, community is our niche. That's where we go to. They're the people we work with. We don't force things onto them. We ask for their opinions. And Lira, I believe, is it's being used as a community assessment of some sort, or a pilot, which will give us the idea or view of what we expect. So when the time comes after we have sat and done the bigger roadmap, we'd like to call upon all Rotarians to join this struggle of cleaning our environment and making it safe for purpose. But again, it is one of our areas of focus, and everybody who has not had an opportunity or who has been wondering how best to tackle this environment, because the other areas of focuses seem to be, self-explanatory. Environment is one of those that is a bit shaky. Other than planting trees, you'd wonder what else can I do, but then there is this waste management. So we can actually turn waste into wealth while keeping a clean environment and keeping our people healthy in a clean environment. So let's rally behind this cause. It is a very good cause. Thank you.
My parting shots are basically two. One is an appeal to each one of us to love our environment. Let's not wait for Rotary or NEMA or Uganda Bikers or Service Corps to come and make the environment where we reside clean for us. Let us love our environment, because it is the environment in which we live that enables our general survival. Our food is from the environment, the water we drink, the businesses we set up, and everything else. Basically, without the environment, we would not exist, we would cease to exist. So let us love the environment. Let's not wait for other people to come and do what we ought to do in our neighborhoods. And my second is to thank the partners for organizing this event. It is a real demonstration of responsibility. Thank you, Rotary. Thank you, Uganda Bikers. Thank you, Service Corps. And finally, appeal to other partners to get on board, because if it is a good cause, you would certainly want to be associated with it. Thank you so much, and NEMA will be more than willing to support throughout this journey. Thank you.
Very good. President,
And
Uganda
last-
Bikers,
Yes,
speak to your people.
yes, I will.
Hmm?
A good cause with good people, the bikers.
Nice.
Bikers have always been looked at on the other side of but bikers are good people. This is a very good initiative that the bikers came up with together with Service Corps to clean up the environment. This weekend, Lira will be roaring. We'll set off from Nalia through Soroti all the way to Lira. I'm calling upon everybody that's on that route. Just get on the roadside and look at the fun of over 30 bikes roaring to Lira. And we're going to Lira for a cause. We're going to Lira for the Yonja Lira campaign. This is our premier trip to Lira on this campaign. We're telling the people out there that please, let's clean up our environment. A clean environment means that we have a productive population. We're not only doing this for our generation, but we're also doing it for the generations after us, so that they live healthily, so that they are more productive, and the country becomes a more economic country. So when you see us out there, please do rally us up, because we also like to see people on the roadside that are rallying us up as we are riding all the way up. It's going to be a jam-packed ride. I tell you, everyone is very excited about Lira, on top of, most important, to doing this project, but I can't help to say that we are also going to be partying in Lira, the Lira way.
Wow. What a way to crown it. And thank you for joining me this evening to talk about the Yonja campaign that will be in Lira. The bikers have gone around the country and they have found the problem of cleanliness, and they have taken it upon themselves to try and deal with this or address this problem with the various partners that we've had here, from the Rotary, from NEMA, from Service Corps, and many others who are not here today, but who have already signed up for this initiative. And Lira, Ayela Tie. We'll see you then on July 22nd.